I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it already feels like home.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
Welcome back to Feels Like Home. I'm Mike Throne. I'm one of the co-hosts. This week, we're super excited. I'll tell you why I'm really excited. Because in the race to get as many Chillicothe soccer athletes as possible up to the level of Zane Trace soccer athletes on this podcast, we have Ben Daughters with us tonight, who is a Chillicothe soccer athlete, ex-Chillicothe soccer athlete. But obviously we know Ben in this community probably much more for his exploits as a restaurateur. He owns and operates with his wife, Kelly, the Poorhouse at Machinery Hall on 2nd Street, and also operates 2 Dairy Queens in our community. And Ben is a guy that has had a great military career as well. He was honored to be a leader in the military, did tours in Afghanistan, and I think he's a guy that I've grown to admire quite a bit just for his leadership and his business acumen. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Ben Daughters. We are really excited to have Ben Daughters from the Poorhouse at Machinery Hall and Dairy Queen. I don't like to forget Dairy Queen. I have a great story to tell you about that.
Okay.
So you did Fan Appreciation Day a couple of weeks ago.
We did.
Which is like a holiday at my house. And so I think it was like the week before or whatever, I saw it. I think you posted something or reposted something that you had. And so I was like, all right, mentally I'm preparing myself. I'm like, Buster Bars. We usually get an ice cream cake or two.
Stock the freezer.
Oh my gosh. And now I have not one, not 2, but 3 freezers. So I'm like, man, this is going to be great. So it was 2 weeks ago today, I think, or maybe a week ago today.
It was 2 Wednesdays ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
is today Wednesday?
Today's
It is
Wednesday.
Goodness.
So I get home from doing the podcast and Kels goes, hey, did you go to Dairy Queen today? And I was like, no. Oh my gosh. I even put it into my calendar and everything. She's like, well, why don't you go? And I had already changed into I hadn't changed yet. And she goes, I go, why don't you go? I'm really tired. It's a long day. She goes, I'm already in my PJs. So I'm mad at this point, right? So I go back to change my clothes. I stand there. I mull it over for a minute. I'm like, I'm not giving in to her, but I'm giving in to me. So I roll out.
I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me.
I roll out at 8:30, and as I'm going down the hill, I'm looking, they're open till 10. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I get to the Bridge Street location.
Yep.
First of all, the folks in that, maybe not the folks in the back, but the folks up front, super nice. I'm sure it was a long freaking day.
Yeah.
But they were super nice,
Good.
super accommodating.
Good.
Bought I got $80 worth of stuff. So obviously it was really like 160.
Yeah.
And we're stocked up on
stocked.
Star-Kissed, Stars and Stripes.
You're ready for 4th of July.
Oh, dude. And we eat that stuff. I remember the last time we did it was, because we missed it last year, was I think during COVID. It was right before it.
Yeah.
And man, we milked that for all it was worth. We were like rationing that out. It's like water or bread or something.
Yeah. We've done that for 11 years now, which is just crazy for me to even think about that. We've been part of that business for 11 years. It's just crazy, crazy. Every year that's, if not our biggest, one of our biggest days of the year. And yeah, you're right. It breaks the staff off. They work their butts off that day. In fact, we start about a month before that actual day. Cake production, just preparing, getting everybody ready, making sure the staff is tuned up. Cause we're kind of, the crazy thing about that is we're in like that middle of winter kind of, almost like complacency that we get. Cause you know, you're so busy and then Thanksgiving hits and we kind of slow down. And then out of nowhere, the third Wednesday of January hits and it's like, holy moly, we got to be ready for this. So it's a fun day and we love doing it. I don't ever see it going away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun day.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple Fridays ago, Jen and I were hanging out upstairs and she's like, I really want a cookie dough blizzard. I said, all right. It was like 9:00 Friday night. No big deal. I'll swing down and grab one. And the line, I mean, it was really cold. I'm like, are you sure you don't want like coffee or something hot? She's like, no, I'm in the mood for ice cream. I get there and the car line on the drive-thru was clear out around the building.
Yeah.
Like out past the Subway. And I'm like, Friday night, it's been crazy. So I get up to the window and I said, busy night. And she's like, it's been like this since I got in. And I don't know what time our shift started, but it must have been like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah, probably 4. Yeah.
And she's like, it has not stopped the whole time. I was like, awesome.
Well, and it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock, but I got a blizzard, of course.
Yeah.
But it was like 10 degrees outside.
I was like, oh, I'll just get a small, like, you know. And I'm sitting there.
Go with the mini. You feel healthy. You're like,
Yeah,
it's just a mini blizzard. It's not that many calories.
And I mean, depending on what you get, I mean, first of all, you have dairy. So, I mean, you know, hey, you're doing the right thing.
It's one of the food groups, isn't it?
I think so.
That's right.
Candy's another one of the food groups. Beer is definitely one of the food groups.
And so what you've really kind of become known for, though, is what you did at Machinery Hall and establishing the poorhouse at Machinery Hall. And we'll talk a little bit, I think, about the formation of that, but I really want to kind of focus on probably what you don't want to focus on, which is COVID and thereafter.
Sure.
Just because I think it's fascinating, all the mental gyrations and all the, you know, the things that you had to do just to make it through all that. And I don't know, maybe you feel like you're not through all that yet.
You know, there's times when we feel, I think collectively, like we've turned a corner, and then you get hit with crazy inflation out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like right now we're all talking about egg prices.
Yeah.
And, you know, last year during the Super Bowl, it was all about chicken wings and how expensive chicken wings were. And, you know, now we're getting notices from all of our distributors that beer prices are going up. And a lot of that's tied to like CO2 shortages and just all this crazy stuff. So there's still all these supply chain issues that there's these ripple effects that we still haven't quite got worked out. But I do think for the most part, we've made it through the worst part of COVID and the effects. Gosh, let's hope so.
Yeah. Right.
But you know, there's certainly still plenty of challenges there. And it's funny, you talk about like all the COVID stuff and you know, I just instantly start thinking about all the restrictions and all this. And, it's crazy that we went through all that. And it's almost like, I don't know, like, you know, I hear like we all have kids and we've had wives that have gone through childbirth and they talk about it and they're like, you know, you kind of forget about like how the hard part of childbirth. And it's almost like part of me forgets about how many like just crazy challenges that we had to go through with COVID. And it's like all of us collectively went through it in different capacities. And it seems like such a distant memory already. It's like, that's how fast we've kind of ran out of the COVID challenges.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we felt like we had to, didn't we? I mean, you know, for every dollar that you weren't making during COVID, you felt like you almost had to make it up times 2. And maybe you didn't feel that way. I think from my perspective, the people that I talked to were like, we got to get back to feeling like our customers are comfortable with us.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, we've got to start doing things a different way.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing of, you know, everybody hates the words that came out of COVID, like pivot and all these like catchphrases, but you know, whatever the word is, the spirit's true that, we all had to learn how to adapt and overcome and just chart a new path forward and not dwell on the past and worry about what happened or what could have happened, because it doesn't matter. And it's just like, okay, let's look forward. Let's figure out how do we all work together, help each other out and get through this and figure out really how to be better on the other side of it than we were before it happened.
Yeah.
I think a lot of organizations really learned how to operate lean during that time. I know that, that where I work, I feel like we learned a lot about who we were and how we could, like you said, use the word pivot.
Yeah.
How could we change? How could we get a little lean and do things different? Our culture at Kingston National Bank isn't a culture that makes a quick decision or, is pretty conservative. And we had to really change that mindset just to keep up and survive. So I appreciate the creative things you guys did during that time frame to remain open and take care of your customers. And it was a challenge, but I think coming out the other end, you guys, I feel like you're in a pretty good place.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, we opened 4th of July weekend of 2017, and you look back on 5.5 years now, and you look at the restaurant statistics of how many restaurants don't make it to year 5. And to think that we're now at year 5.5, and half of that time frame was trying to navigate the waters of COVID. It's pretty amazing to just look back and reflect on not just our business, but to your point, Marty, like every business and all of us, how much we've just had to really figure it out. I think when you go through periods like we all went through with COVID, you really take stock of the people that are around you, not just your family, not just your friends, but also the people that you work with every day. And the really great people in your life become even greater.
Yeah.
And the people that were kind of on the fringes, I think we all learned, for better or worse, to kind of quickly move past those people, and let them go wherever they needed to go, and we go wherever we needed to go. And I think that that's one of the areas for us at the Poorhouse where we were able to really come together as a team and get stronger. And I think that's a big thing that has hopefully positioned us to be even better for the future than like I said, than we were before COVID.
And you've had to stay creative as well, which means, doing some different things, or you were slow to come back with some things because you just had to be, right. I mean, obviously the crowd restrictions and things like that take a toll. And then, like you talked about, certain items couldn't be available at certain times because they're just not around. Right. And so, but one of the things, and I when I saw you earlier today, I said I was going to bring this up. But, you're like Chillicothe's Willy Wonka all of a sudden, except for instead of golden tickets, you had red envelopes.
Right.
So let's talk about that, because during the holiday, you came up with this red envelope idea. Explain that a little bit, where that genesis came from. And then I think it's really interesting, the results that you've seen so far.
Well, so part of our core values are we have to constantly be creative, and we can't be afraid to fail. And so I cannot take any credit for the red envelope program other than I said, that sounds like a great idea. Let's make it happen. So I talk about the people on our team, and we are just blessed with, I don't know where all these great people that we get to work with came from, how they ended up with us. But I couldn't be happier and I couldn't be prouder. And one of those folks is we had he's our assistant manager now, our assistant general manager. His name's Sean Dean. He moved up from Atlanta about this time last year. Wanted to change the scenery, wanted to change his life. God bless him. He landed in Chillicothe, Ohio, and he ended up at our doorstep. And he's a restaurant guy. He has been for 20 years. And it was probably September last year. He brought this idea to me. And he said, hey, let's do this red envelope promotion during the holiday season. And we'll put a different gift in every envelope. And, so I'm like, well, what do you mean for gifts? And he's like, well, everything from like a $5 gift card up to merch, some $100 gift cards, and, we'll do a $200 gift card too. And I'm like, I'm doing the math and I'm like, I don't know, like how many of these are you thinking? And he's like, well, maybe, I'm thinking like 2,000. And I'm like, 2,000? I don't know. That doesn't seem like enough, like we're doing like projected guest counts and all that sort of thing. And, so we landed on 200 or 2,500. So during the holiday season, for every guest that came in, whoever was kind of paying the bill, our gift to them during the holiday season is that they got a red envelope. The catch with the red envelope is that you couldn't use it. You couldn't open it unless you opened it in front of your server or bartender at the restaurant. And you couldn't open it until after the first of the year. So from January 1st through February 28th, folks can bring the red envelope in and redeem them. So we kind of, agreed to the framework of this and figured out what we were going to do and got it all together and started doing it. And our hope was that we would get 15% redemption out of 2,500 envelopes that we gave out. So we just looked at the numbers yesterday, and through the month of January, we're already at a 20% redemption rate. And then I start correlating, you start doing the analysis and you start looking at all the numbers and that sort of thing. And so our sales for this January compared to January of 22 were up 55%.
Yeah.
And it's not all correlated to the red envelope. Again, talking about COVID, it was a different world last January than it was this January. And I'm very comfortable to say we've got a better team now than we had last January. And there's a lot of factors at play, but the point is we're always excited to try new things and not be afraid to fail. And I think when you do that, good things follow.
Right.
And in that same vein, before COVID, you had the idea to do the rooftop terrace.
Yeah.
And that, of course, got delayed by COVID. But now you've had a year of that, a little bit over a year, like 15 months or so. I think it opened in like October.
So technically the terrace opened downtown open house weekend 21.
Yeah.
It opened just in time for the snow to pile up on it.
Exactly.
Which was really exciting to look out the window and see.
I remember going up that night, of course, with the heaters.
Yeah, we had the heater. Yeah.
But man, it was nice, but you could just tell, I was like, this is not a winter thing. So.
Not a winter thing. Definitely not a winter thing. So we got, then of course, like I feel like this past fall, and hopefully it's not the kind of fall we're looking at this year, but it's like winter almost seems like it just delays later and later. Right. And then it's like, you feel like it should be, I don't know. I'm like, it's St. Patrick's Day. I should be in shorts and a t-shirt and it's like still snowing outside. So, last year we got about 6 months probably out of the terrace. Really good initial results. We're really excited about it. We learned a lot of things about it. We learned how to get food up there. We learned how to get beverages up there, just all the kind of working the bugs out that you need to with any new project or any new system. And so we're really excited for 2023. We've got some big plans. I think we're going to do some special menu items up there. You can only get some special beverages that you can only get up there. And just kind of hopefully carve that space out as another great space, to add to the overall, things that we have going on in downtown Chillicothe.
Yeah. One of the things that I really appreciate about your culture is that not only you are not afraid to try new things and you're really emphasizing not being afraid to fail. You don't just throw something out there and be like, okay, you are constantly reassessing and assessing everything you do. And I wonder if that's part of your military background or if it's just part of your, the way that you grew up with your dad being in business or whatever. But, it's easy sometimes, I think, to have that great idea, throw it out there, let it sit for a year and then go, oh, well, geez, that didn't work, and then be done. Or it was good, and so we'll just keep it the way it is. You seem to always kind of be reassessing and making minor modifications or maybe sometimes major modifications to try and make it better.
So I had the great privilege of serving for 8 years as an infantry officer in the Army. And I also had the privilege of going to the greatest leadership school in the world, and that's United States Army Ranger School. And one of the things that you learn as a young Ranger officer is a simple plan boldly executed is always better than sitting down and coming up with the perfect plan and just him-hawing around on it and never getting around to executing it. And so I think that a lot of those leadership attributes that I learned in the Army, being flexible, being adaptable, understanding that the best plan never survives the first shot, always thinking on your toes. I think that has really helped me as I have kind of developed my career where I'm at now as a business person to carry some of those core principles forward. And I think if you're not always reinventing yourself and trying to figure out how to be a little better today than you were yesterday, then I think you're putting yourself at risk of eventually becoming irrelevant. And I also think that when you do that, you allow yourself and your organization to become really complacent and just be okay with being okay.
Yeah.
And, I'm not so sure that that's a good recipe for long-term success.
Yeah. Do you feel like, so you opened in 17 and of course the storied history of the renovation of Machinery Hall,
Yeah.
Which was quite a project. You basically had to build the building again.
Yeah.
Then you get 2 years under your belt and then you got to do COVID.
Yeah.
And so by the time COVID's over, it's mid 2021, which is, so you're really only a year or so out of that.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, are you in the mood of like, I'm waiting for the next thing to happen? Or are you like, well, that was great. Those two things happened back to back and now I'm done with it. I can actually start living the life as a restaurateur the way I want to.
Yeah. I don't know. There's all the talk right now of, were we in a recession? Are we in a recession? Are we about to be in a recession? So side story, one of the people that I really look up to and I would consider a mentor is Ed Kunzelman. And I was talking to him a couple weeks ago and I asked him, I said, Ed, how do you look at the world around you and the economy and try to read the tea leaves and use that to make business decisions, like big strategic moves and that sort of thing? And his advice to me was basically, don't wait around for whatever to happen that may or may not happen, because, out of every crisis or every whatever, there's opportunity right on the other side of it. And I fully believe what he said to be true. And so I guess to your question, Mike, there may be a crisis right around the corner, but I think if we all sit and live, of course you got to be strategic and you got to be wise and you got to make the best decisions you can. But I think if we sit here and we almost develop paralysis out of analysis, then it's like, we're never going to collectively move forward.
Yeah.
So I think we just do the best we can. We look at the situation and, if there's an opportunity, then we go after it.
Yeah.
I like how you said that, but you do look at the analytics. You're not afraid to analyze things. I think that's what Mike was alluding to, is like, I appreciate that about you, but you can't live by the analytics alone. Sometimes you got to kind of go with your gut. Yeah. And you're not afraid to do that. Yeah.
And you can't be dominated by the fear of the unknown either, because you'll never,
Yep.
Gosh, would mankind ever have invented the wheel?
Yeah.
We'd still be like, well, what if it doesn't roll?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, would we have ever gotten married? Would we have ever had kids? Would we have ever bought a house? It's endless, right?
Yeah, it is endless.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good point. You look at the state of sports today, which everything is done by, analytics.
Yeah.
And we at home sometimes sit and go, why? Why are we making this decision based on a computer somewhere? Is the gut just out of the game?
I said why quite a few times last Sunday evening.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah.
But I think, in all honesty, like, I think it is good to have the numbers, but sometimes data can be the enemy of a quick decision.
Yeah.
And you can't live your life on, well, I guess I can take 2 months to figure this out. Like, it's just not going to happen, right? If we had all taken 2 minutes to figure out how we were going to sell hamburgers, chicken wings, and other things, beer, and so on during COVID, we'd all been out of business.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that, and I think it bodes well, I think, for the business in itself. I know Kelly's a big part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
She has her own job and her own things that she does. Right. So,
Yep.
So, I mean, I think it's really good that I see a family atmosphere there, with not only your family being a part of it, but I feel like the employees feel that way too. How have you tried to foster that? You seem like you communicate core values, mission, vision real well to those folks.
I think one of the things that we really focus in on is, I mean, you just mentioned it. We talk a lot about our mission. We talk a lot about our core values. We set high standards for ourselves. We hold each other accountable. And I think that when you do those things, it creates an environment where successful people want to be part of a group of people that challenges them, holds them accountable, pushes them to be better. And so I think one of the things that we try to emphasize every day, and again, like, I credit 100% our leadership team, both at the Poorhouse and the Dairy Queens, because they're the ones that are out there doing it every day. But they're engaging with our people, and they're talking about these things, and then they're also living it themselves. They're walking the walk. And at the end of the day, no organization is going to be successful by luck. I believe that it's going to happen because they've got a great leadership team that's pushing the organization. And I think that that's really where we're blessed, is with our leadership team.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about culture. It comes up in our conversations all the time with people. I think you've built a great culture that pushes that forward, that makes your business prosper, because you've got good people in the right places making the right decisions. That's just important for the success of your business. Well,
I appreciate that. And if I'm being honest, I will say one of the casualties for us of COVID was, we talk about the challenges and what recoveries look like. And I would say for most of us, a huge challenge coming out of COVID was getting the right people in our organizations and rebuilding our teams with the right people. And this is where it's, if I'm being honest, sometimes out of necessity, sometimes out of whatever else, we brought people into our organization that in hindsight we shouldn't have. And they didn't believe in the values. They didn't have the buy-in, and that really hindered recovery for both the Poorhouse and the Dairy Queens. And it wasn't until, whether we consciously or subconsciously did it and made a decision, that it's like, we're not going to be an organization that just is going to make the COVID excuse of, well, we don't have enough people, we can't be open today, and we can't do this, and we can't do that. And it was, stop making the excuses. We have to go do this. It's not an option anymore. And really, when we started to push ourselves, and like I said, stop making the excuses, then the people that weren't supposed to be there weeded themselves out very quickly. And then we've got better people applying to work at all of our locations now than we ever have.
Yeah.
And I still hear people talking about, it's so hard to get people, and we can't staff our shifts, and we can't do this. And it's not that we don't have our problems, but we don't have those severity of problems that we certainly used to, and that I think some people still do.
Yeah.
And I credit 100% of that to our leadership teams, and just changing the culture and saying, we're not going to accept mediocrity anymore. And we've still got work to do. And there's still things that, we need to improve. And, but I think for us, that's been a huge driver in getting to wherever we are based on where we were 2 years ago, coming out of COVID or in the middle of COVID or whatever it was.
Yeah. Cause I feel like I hear less of the concept of, well, it's the people, I can't get the people to work. I hear less of that now than I did even 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Now, whether those folks are getting the right people in there, I don't know. And I think in the rush to come back, I think a lot of folks did the same thing you did. Like, all right, we just got to get bodies in here.
Absolutely.
And what ended up happening was the quality goes down, and so therefore people are less likely to return.
Yeah.
Because a bad experience goes on forever, but a good experience gets forgotten quickly, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think it's interesting. And I think seeing what I've seen since you made the decision, we're going every day and we're going to be open and we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I think if you think about that from the other end, which is the employee spectrum, if I only have 4 days that I'm open, do I really feel like I'm going to get the hours that I need and get the tips that I need and so on to make this, I don't want to say worth my effort, but at least cover myself.
Yeah.
Right. Rent, mortgage, whatever that looks like, kids, whatever. When you're saying, okay, I can get enough hours out of 7 days, then maybe it looks a little different,
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody's got bills.
Yeah.
Sure.
And we got to figure out how to pay them. And, like I said, we've still got plenty of things that we've got to work on, but I do think that I'm very confident and very proud that generally speaking, we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at Christmas time, we were my employer, we were the sponsor for Chillicothe Civic Theater's The Elf musical.
It was a great musical.
Yeah. And, so, the guy across the office, lives in Grove City, and he says, hey, we're going to go Wednesday night to sponsors night. I'm bringing my family down. Where should we eat? I said, well, you're going to be at the Majestic. Just go to the Poorhouse. It's right next door. And I'll just meet you at the show. And so he walks in the door with his family right before the show starts. And his just one word to me. He was like, home run.
Nice.
Like, good. I knew that's why I recommended it, because I knew you'd have a great experience. He's like, food was fantastic. Great selection of beers. It was just like,
that's awesome.
Really, really happy with the experience. It's the first time that he'd been down. Now they've come down multiple times and taken in the restaurant. So Thanksgiving, my kids live out of town, but you're our first stop when they come home for Thanksgiving, for the last, handful of years. They come home and they're like, all right, they get home on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, are here to visit. And we usually see your family there too.
Yeah.
That night, but it's become kind of our thing that we do. And so I start to see that when we're there, we're bumping into people that we see there frequently. So I feel like you have a pretty large group of core customers that really support you. And that's awesome to see.
Well, I really appreciate your recommendation. I appreciate your guys' support. Beyond that, I'll tell you, because this theme of COVID keeps coming up, and Kelly and I, more times than I can even remember during COVID and this post-COVID world, would just look at each other and say, like, how are we so blessed to have the support of our community? And when COVID first hit and the governor ordered all the restaurants to be closed, we're sitting on, I don't even know, many thousands of dollars of beer, of food, of unit. And it's just like, hey guys, tomorrow you're closing. There's no time to prepare for that. There's no time to plan. And so we're looking at each other and we're like, what are we going to do with all this? Like, and well, we figured out if we can package up crowlers and we can figure out how to get limited staff in the store and do like a carry out. And so we kind of put it out on social media. And the first day we did it, there was like a line of people down the sidewalk to the Majestic. And I'm like, I'm smart enough to know like these people don't really want the beer. They just wanted to support us and to support local business. And, you know, you take stock of moments like that. And I think it's just really a reflection of our community and how blessed we are to have such a great community that supports everything that we're doing.
Yeah. Not
just the poorhouse, but all the great things that are going on downtown, all the great things that are going on around the community and the county. I mean, if there's a better place to live, you better show it to me because I'm just going to have a hard time believing it.
Yeah. This is big. Horizon Fiber Internet is ready.
Let them get you hooked up and power your Wi-Fi network
with the speed and reliability that only a 100% fiber network can do.
Horizon is ready to help you do what you do better with real people, real rates, and a real service.
Connect with them today, and the first month is free, plus no contracts and no data caps. Call 740-772-8331
or visit horizonconnects.com/Chillicothe to sign up today.
Well, completely agree with all those sentiments. I would say you can see that outside of the microcosm of downtown. And, you know, I saw ads for the Poorhouse on the big screen at the football game this fall.
Yeah.
You know, I know that you guys are supportive of a lot of different other things as well. And, you know, I think the one thing that I took from COVID was that everybody knew that everybody was going to have a different experience with it. And we were all kind of okay with it for the most part. The people in the middle, the people on the ends, we knew how they were going to react. Right. But the people in the middle were in that line.
Yeah.
The people in the middle were the ones hearing, oh, that guy got COVID or that girl got COVID. Oh boy, how do we help? Like,
yeah,
you know, that's the stuff. It brings a community. It tightens the knit, not loosens it. And I think that's what we saw. And, you know, I'm not naive enough to think it didn't happen in other communities, but I feel like here we really rallied around each other a lot more than I saw in other places. And people said to me, I don't know how you guys did it, but you kept that whole downtown through that whole thing. And we lost, you know, 5 or 6 places or whatever. And so, you know, that's a tribute to the people of this town.
Absolutely.
Really. And it's part of the reason why you came back here, because you could have probably done what you wanted to do after your military service was over, but you came back here to start a restaurant in a building that, you know, ended up being a money pit for a little while. So
it's beautiful though, man.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, someday it'll work out for my kids.
That's right. Well, I mean, hey, right? Why not? You know, that's a good family business to have. You know? So, I would be remiss if I didn't mention you're also the president of Downtown Chillicothe again.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think we had Tiffany on, I think, last season, and we talked a little bit about how the organization has been growing. It's one thing to talk to the executive director of the organization. It's another thing to talk to the people that are on the board that are actually there and they're doing it.
Yeah.
You've got to be excited about the direction of that organization. I think you guys took some great steps last year to strategically think about what Downtown Chillicothe can be, not the organization, not the place.
Right.
And what it can be and how it can be even more important moving forward. How do you feel about the way that everything is going and the mix of events and the things that you're seeing around downtown?
Well, I think one of the things that excites me the most about being part of Downtown Chillicothe is our primary mission, and that's historic preservation. And I think sometimes that aspect of Downtown Chillicothe maybe gets lost with people, and you know, maybe they don't quite understand really what our primary mission is. But you know, when you talk about the stock of historic buildings and the architecture and the stories and the history, all that's the fabric of who we are and where we came from. And so with downtown Chillicothe's core mission being historic preservation, it's exciting to be part of that organization. And so, within that, we focus on we focus on economic development because, you got to have sustainable businesses that can go in and fix these old buildings up and be able to make a living out of them. We focus on promotion. We focus on these different things that really help the business owners and the property owners to be successful. And so downtown Chillicothe is 4 years.
It's probably coming up on 5 now.
Coming up on 5. Yeah.
So 5 this year, I think.
Yeah. So it's still a baby in itself.
Yeah.
It's like the toddler that's starting to walk now, finally. But you asked me how I feel about the direction of the organization, and honestly, I can't be more excited about it. In the last couple of years, we've launched things like Sand in the Streets. We've launched things like Oktoberfest. Just last week, we finished up our second annual. Is it the second annual? Or is it the first annual when it's the second year? I don't know. We finished up the second year of Restaurant Week. We've got a lot of great things that we're looking at. In fact, I was in meetings this morning. I told you about this earlier. We're looking at the potential of trying to organize a brew fest in downtown, which would be great to be able to highlight OCB and First Cap and 50 West, and then a bunch of other great local to the larger geographic area breweries. So there's just so much excitement and energy going on with downtown Chillicothe, and I'm really excited about what the future has in store. And it's funny, people ask me sometimes, or they'll make, I'll be having a conversation with them just about downtown in general. They'll say like, "Wow, we've really arrived. Like we've made it." And I just kind of like
hearing that.
Yeah, I kind of like look at them and not to be like rude or disrespectful, but I kind of like laugh to myself because I'm like, you have no idea. Like we have just begun to scratch the surface of what our potential really is. And if you look at all the things that our community has been able to accomplish in the last 10 years, and you look at all the things that are on the horizon, it's like, yeah, we've just started to scratch the surface, and there's so much potential ahead of us.
Yeah. Well, and when you look at the city comprehensive plan, and you think about the things that they want to do, not only in the park, but in the Riverside area, I mean, all of that is going to
Tiffin property.
Yeah. I mean,
that is like awesome. That design,
all of that is going to create more people. I mean, in all honesty, Tiffin property is not a far walk to downtown.
No, not at all.
Or a bike ride or whatever you want to look at.
Right.
Trolley ride.
Yeah. A trolley ride.
That's exactly what will happen. Yeah. That's done.
So you think about all those things, and it just means more attention to downtown. There are still plenty of buildings to get fixed up and get things moved into them. And so you're right. I think, it's great to hear the praise of we've arrived.
Sure.
But I'd rather wait 5 more years and see what else has happened and see how far we've come then, because we're always going to be evolving too. What's very popular today probably won't be popular 5 years from now. Right. So how do we figure out how to make the best of that as it moves along,
Yeah, it's that constant, again, it goes back to that constant evolution, never feeling like, okay, I've really made it. I've really arrived. Because again, like my personal fear is that's when complacency sets in.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you feel like is on the horizon for the Poorhouse? Any new markets, things that you're exploring or things like that?
Kelly, what was it? I don't know. A few years ago, she put me on, she calls it probation. And she's like, no new businesses, no new buildings, no new ideas. Like, just like you're wearing me out. And, I just kind of laugh because, it's not that I I don't really know how to explain it, but it's not like I get bored with something or I just, or it's not interesting to me anymore, or I feel like I've accomplished everything that it can be and I'm ready to move on. It's not those things, but I do kind of get bored and I like a new challenge. Yeah. And so, I mean, I'd be lying if I said that there's not many other concepts that I want to do, other businesses. There's, I think that there's other markets. If you talk specifically about the poorhouse, that maybe someday we could look at expanding that brand. But we'll see.
You got to run it past the boss first.
Got to run it past the boss, make sure I'm out of probation. we all know
probation could be long.
Oh yeah. We all know who really makes the decisions in this world. So
that's true. Yeah. I've always, I've just been a fan of the way that you've approached, number one, just coming back. I mean, we didn't even talk about you ran for city council as well, but
best thing ever happened was I lost.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, would the trajectory of things change? It probably would have, right? Because things are different.
Undoubtedly.
So, but I just feel like what you've done as you've come back is you've tried some things. Some of them didn't work out, but you were, all right, how do I make the next thing work? And that's a great lesson for everybody in our community to look at and learn. And hopefully you'll keep, doing those types of things and still not being afraid to fail, because I like it when you succeed. And you can't succeed if you're too afraid to fail. So
yeah.
I appreciate
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's right. Is that Michael Scott or Wayne Gretzky or
somebody a lot smarter than I am?
Well, Ben, thanks for being on, man. This is great.
It's been fantastic.
I appreciate the invite and the opportunity to meet with you guys. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
It feels a little strange, but I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it all